Okay. The next topic that we are going to discuss is the musculoskeletal system. There are approximately 600 different muscles throughout our body. As you can see, there's muscles that come on the top of our head and go all the way down to our toes. You are in no way responsible for knowing the names of each individual muscle. But the important thing is understanding that there are three different types of muscle in our body and how muscle works and some other functions of that muscle. The three main types that we have are skeletal, also known as voluntary muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Smooth and cardiac muscle are not under conscious control. So you can't sit there and think to smooth muscle, which is typically located in our intestine, to move. They just work automatically depending on at what point of the digestion process our body is at after we consume food. Cardiac muscle is found exclusively in the heart, and they are also known as autorhythmic cells. So they generate their own electrical impulses and they contract in a uniform manner on their own without any nervous system input or conscious control. Then skeletal muscle, which makes up the majority of our muscle, is what we can control voluntarily. You can sit there and think to yourself, I am going to walk to the fridge and I'm going to open the fridge and see what's in there that I want to eat. You consciously think to yourself to get up and walk to the fridge. And the main functions of the skeletal muscle that you should be familiar with, it helps us keep our form. So muscle attaches to our bones, and this helps keep everything together. It helps maintain our upright posture. If we didn't have muscles on our skeleton would kind of just rock back and forth and we wouldn't be able to sit still. Movement. So the muscle attaches to the bones at various different points that we're going to discuss on a different slide that causes bones to move. So when we're picking up objects, we have certain muscles that coordinate with each other to work together to lift objects up. It also serves as an extra layer of protection for vital organs. And not depicted here, or not listed here, the skeletal muscle also provides heat production. So when we get cold, we start to shiver. That is rapid contractions of our muscle. And those rapid contractions increase the amount of heat our body generates in order to keep us warm. And another small function not listed is glucose storage. When we consume food and nutrients, we don't use it all at the moment we eat it. So we have mechanisms in place that store that sugar, and skeletal muscle is one of those locations. So, as I mentioned, skeletal muscle helps with moving our bones and creating the motions of certain body parts. So walking, lifting objects, waving your hand, or raising your hand if you have a question in class. This is all coordinated with our muscles. So contraction and relaxation of this system make it possible to move and manipulate the environment. And as I mentioned, a byproduct of this movement is heat. And when we look at this picture here, we have our bicep muscle here, then we have our tricep muscle. We have muscles that kind of counteract each other, because if we were just to have a bicep muscle, our arm would constantly stay flexed. Our tricep muscle allows us to straighten our arm out. There are points called origins and insertions. So the origin is the anchor point. It doesn't necessarily cause the movement that we are anticipating. The insertion is where the action occurs. So when we are talking about our bicep muscle here, our origin is located in the shoulder region, and the insertion is attached to our ulna. So when we contract our bicep here, the point that is attached to the ulna bone is pulled up. So the insertion point is where the contraction actually occurs. And same goes with the tricep. It's just on the opposite side of our humerus here. And again, there are many other muscles throughout our body that do this. And oftentimes, a lot of complex movements that we do have are a result of a combination of different muscle groups. So again, you do not need to know the names of the muscles specifically, but understand how they work and how they perform this work.